Look at this.
Related to peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand?
Oh, okay, Sarah, I gotta go to you on this. I feel like you've been writing this stuff online too. It's hard because we're not counter-signaling Trump. We're actually counter-signaling Israel because we're saying that Israel does not have Americans' interests at heart, and that he's going, look, Israel doesn't know what they're doing. I disagree. Israel does know what they're doing. America refuses to believe that Israel has a plan, and their plan is regime change and to wipe out Iran, and we want to pretend like they just want peace, but you know that's not what they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that Trump is just fatigued at that point. Okay, why are you putting? Okay, he's obviously just fatigued. I think most of us are just fatigued in many different ways, but he's just tired of America being dragged around by Israel. Of course, they got us into this war, basically behind our back too. And then now it's like he's putting all this work into trying to keep the peace, and then it's like on the 12th hour they just try to go all in. It's like that's not really a good way to keep the peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I'm glad to see Trump come out with this video with him actually showing some kind of frustration. A lot of us have been worrying that it's more of a puppet effect where the president just follows blindly to whatever Israel wants. And one thing I was glad to see it because when I was checking out Twitter X last night, a lot of people, and you can see who's really paid. Israel had a huge barrage that they dropped on Iran. They were trying to drop as much as they can, send over as many bombs as they can before the whole treaty went into effect. And I mean, that's in bad faith. But then as soon as I guess you're saying that Iran's saying they didn't shoot back, but when I read that Iran fired back, every person on X was like, oh my God, Iran is ruining the treaty. Iran is attacking Israel, and then totally neglecting the fact that Israel actually was firing first, was unloading on them. And you can really see who those paid influencers are, who's really just filling their pockets and not really giving a damn what the American people should know.
Yeah. It doesn't really make any sense. People are trying to accuse the critics of this war of being Trump haters. You know, it's like, oh, you're not. Okay, first of all, Trump isn't God. I think it was like Charlie Kirk or someone like that was like, trust in Trump, trust in Trump. It's like, he's not God. You don't have to like put your faith in him. He's still a person. You know what I mean? It's kind of wild how some of people are acting about this. But it's like, in general, I do think Trump as an individual is anti-war. I don't think he wants us to be in this war in the Middle East or anything like that. He seemed just like annoyed that America got dragged into it, of course, and he's just trying to keep the peace. But at the end of the day, the Trump administration is a whole different story. There's so many, neocons and warmongers in the cabinet. Of course, Trump received millions of dollars from Miriam Adelson, and just the money and the donors and the special interests and the personnel in the administration all do want this war. So it's going to be pretty hard for Trump to not, to actually keep the peace. And then, of course, the fact that he wasn't able to do that kind of disappointed a lot of us, because I guess we were hoping it's like this one man against the system. Maybe he would be able to stop it, but that's just, it's not really realistic, I guess. And so that's why I personally was just super disappointed. And I was like, oh, like, what did I even vote for? It's kind of like blackpilling a little bit, but it's like, not saying I would have rather voted for Kamala, but it's just like, I had this enthusiastic vote where I was like, no new wars. He's going to keep all his promises. And even if Trump wanted to keep his promises, you just realize how deep the rot in the system is. And it's like, do we even have a fighting chance even when we have someone like Trump on our side?
No, okay, that's a good point. And I kind of bring this up because like last night, people want to know how you can predict that it wasn't going to be enough. So let me show you a couple of my evidences last night. As the ceasefire happened, Listen to what Mark Levin was saying about this. By the way, imagine being Mark Levin. I wrote, it went pretty viral. Imagine being Mark Levin. That's crazy. Listen to this.
The truth too. So we have a ceasefire. I hate this word ceasefire. I really do. The president hated it a few days ago too. What's needed now is this, in my humble opinion. Iran should be forced to sign a surrender document. Unconditional surrender.
Okay.
They lost their nukes. They've lost their air force. They have no ground-to-air protection. China didn't step in. Russia didn't step in. Not a single Arab country stepped in. The supreme Nazi is hiding in a bunker, much like Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler wasn't thrown a lifeline.
Yeah, he died in Argentina after having several children. We need to have a real confrontation in the right wing of Trump supporters like ourselves. I voted for him in all 3 elections. I believe he won all 3 elections. I was a part of Stop the Steal. You know, you almost went to prison for 5 years protesting him on January 6th. You were pardoned. These are we show by our lives that we supported this guy, but this blind devotion to him is not what I'm worried about. It's everyone's like, so you don't trust Trump? What I don't trust is that Trump is not controlled by Israeli money. And then, you know what Seth Dillon said today? Someone said, these anti-Israel haters are blinded by their Israel hate. And he goes, they're anti-Jewish. So he's so obsessed that you can't even disagree with Israel's manipulation of our politicians without being anti-Jewish, therefore anti-Semitic. I'm tired of this race-obsessed, racist right wing that makes everything about Judaism. Can't we just leave the Jews alone? Can't we just focus on Israel a little bit and Zionism? Can't we not just focus on this and say, hey, Seth Dillon, leave the Jews alone, you race-obsessed grifter who can't stop talking and bringing Jews into your, amalgamation of hatred. Can you let the Jews rest and just go to their gay parades? Because I'm tired of you dragging them. You know what I'm saying?
It's like all of these people who are claiming that we're not America first or we're not MAGA because we want Trump to stick to his promises, which is why we voted for him, and which is why we said we were MAGA, why we said we were America first. It's like all these same people didn't even want Trump to win the primary in this election. Like, these are the exact same people who wanted Ron DeSantis to win. If you look back in time just a little bit, like a year and a half ago or something, none of them even supported Trump. They all hated on him. So it's like, who are you to try to redefine what MAGA means? It makes no sense at all.